Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. This is not a rant, but it'll be a bit long. And the subject is really simple. A couple while back, it was published that the largest killer of children in this country was gun violence. That is an absolute lie. It is a lie. Um, it's a mischaracterization of what the facts are, and I'm going to talk about what those are. The issue, and I've said this before, homicide by firearm is a young black male problem. Young black male problem. Young black male problem. In just a few cities in this country, all of them are east of the Mississippi. And I'm going to go through which one, the usual suspects. They are all in Democratic-led jurisdictions. How bad is it? Well, let me go through some facts for you. First, let's fact check this children thing. More kids are killed by traffic accidents than firearms in this country. And that has been true over the last 8-9 years. I mean, the data is the same and the relationship is the same until the age group reaches 14. Then the number of firearms deaths compared to traffic deaths is greater. All of those are in black communities. All of those are gang related. Now, the language is being used is interpersonal conflict. That's the words you'll start to hear. Interpersonal conflict. Super concentrated neighborhoods, blah, blah. It's the ghetto. It's the ghetto. It's the neighborhood. It's the projects. It's where those folks hang out, right? And there's a subculture, which is extremely dangerous. So it is not true. It is not true that the greatest number of killers of kids is firearms. It's traffic accidents until the age group reaches 14. And then it just goes crazy as it gets to 17, 18, 19. But 18 and 19-year-olds are adults, not kids. They're disingenuous because they want to use that age group as teenagers. The hell with that. They're adult males. Now, it's important. It's important to look at where. I'm looking at the map, and I wish I could figure out how to show the map to you. But where are the usual suspects? Easy. Kansas City, Kansas. St. Louis, read that as East St. Louis. New Orleans, Jacksonville, Florida, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee, Dayton, Ohio, and not Miami, I'm sorry, not Dayton, Ohio, Indianapolis, the Chicago-Milwaukee corridor, right? And then you have this blob that goes between Philadelphia all the way down to past Richmond, Virginia, along the coast. Those are predominantly black cities with concentration of black males and black gangs. Missing from this are the other locations that people like to pick on, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and so forth. But the concentration of these are in that part of the country. Well, I mean, if you are a politician, you can't say just like they don't talk about Chicago. You can't say that the problem is concentrated here in my area. You can't say that because then you don't get reelected. You don't get reelected. There's this cycle, and it always comes back to community gun violence or interpersonal homicides. Poor people don't have money, living in crappy places, are going to kill each other. I mean, that's the message. That's the message, right? Young black males between the ages of 15 and 34 make up 37% of the gun deaths in this country. Almost 40%. So when you look at the numbers of total homicides by gun, which is around 40,000, and you separate out about 30,000 of that, call it, maybe 25,000 of that for suicides. Half of the rest are black males' violence on each other. That's the problem. There is no epidemic in this country, because the epidemic would imply that it is pretty much homogeneous everywhere in the country. That is just a lie. It is not true. It is not true. The epidemic is in the black community. It is in the black community. And every one of those places are in states that have crappy access to firearms for regular civilians. What will happen, the more there is permitless carry for regular civilians, a lot of those black males that are participating in the gang stuff and the interpersonal conflict will either get killed in the process or figure it out that that's not a good look for them and they need to go figure something else out. The most lethal culture of that cohort are the young kids, 14 to 16, because they are being trained and groomed to be exceptionally violent. And they have no fear. They have no fear. They have no fear of getting killed. They have no fear of getting shot. So they just need to be eliminated in the process of doing stupid stuff. And a lot of them are. A lot of them are. They're failing the room temperature test around the country or around their areas of the country. I mean, what do you do about it? If you're a politician, what do you do about that? What do you do about that? You blame the whole country, don't you? You blame the whole country. It's our children are dying. No, stop saying that. That's a lie. Our black children are killing each other. And nobody's able to stop that. Because what would happen, if you increase police presence, then the police are racist. Allow the community, allow regular citizens to become armed. Then you will have black citizens killing young black criminals. And the problem will go away fairly quickly. Now, this wasn't supposed to be a rant. I don't think it was. But the information that's been put out there about the children being killed, yes, they are. But which children and why? And our efforts need to be placed on solving those problems rather than attacking the Second Amendment and our right to keep and bear arms. Because we keep and bear arms. If you lived in those cities, if I lived, I don't. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard to find some kind of violent crime up here, and it's usually bad guy on bad guy, and it's not black guys on black guys. I can tell you that. But if I lived in those cities and I could be armed, I would be armed all the time because the risk is high. Carjacking. I mean, look what D.C. just tried to do. Washington, D.C., the city council tried to pass laws that would reduce penalties for violent carjacking. Slap on the hand. Sorry. Overturned by the mayor, good on her, and now overturned by Congress. Both the House and the Senate have a say in the rules that come up for Washington, D.C. And I'm glad that they did that. And the president, to his credit, is going to support them. Because you can't turn a location as violent as that, D.C., Baltimore, Philly, it's all the same thing. It's just one blob of young black males violently killing each other, right? Or killing other people in the act of becoming violent, doing violent crime. Now, we'll see where it goes. But don't believe the lie. Don't believe the lie that there's an epidemic, because it's not. It is focused on those cities. And everybody knows who those cities are. It is focused. It is not an epidemic, right? Moms Demand Action. Moms Demand Action, all those people, the Brady, I tell you what. If you're all that in a bag of chips, get on buses and go spend your time in those black neighborhoods. Carry the signs in the black neighborhoods, right? You do in those neighborhoods for violence with guns done by the young men, the same thing that the Freedom Riders did, going down to the South in buses to get black folks to register to vote. You get on the bus, you white women, get on buses, go down to those cities, go up to those cities, go across to those cities, walk around in those neighborhoods carrying those signs and see what happens to you. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. So, with that, I'm gonna end. So if you like the content, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Share if you like to share. And as always, wherever you can, however you can, whatever you can, carry on.